Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today we have an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Also, Loadout is normally a Monday episode, but I just pushed it back to Tuesday this week because of all the Battlefield 1 coverage. Today's top comment comes from It's Maj, the LMG Noob Loadout. The class will be support. Primary is the MG4 with no optic, laser sight, and stubby grip. Now, I'm using the 249 here because later the reply comments to this comment here, everybody was saying use the 249. It's actually the accurate weapon compared to the LMG Noob, and they agreed. So I've changed the weapon to the 249 instead of the MG4. Very similar gun all around though. Knife is the bayonet, sidearm will be using the M9, field upgrade is indirect fire. Then he says take out your enemies while hip firing when possible while using the M249 to get promoted. Use Jeep stuff to take out enemy vehicles and set traps. Resupply your team with ammo and don't be afraid to use your little gun. And don't forget to press the knife button to counter knife your enemies. Love the content, LevelCap, keep it up. And I gotta say it is fun coming back to using this noob setup here. Obviously iron sights are not ideal, but they weren't really slowing me down too much. I was running with smoke grenades. They weren't specific about what grenade to run. I went with the M67 frag a bit, but I was just playing on 64-player TDM maps a lot of the time, and I found the smoke a little bit more useful. You notice I do turn off my laser sight though when things get very smoky, as it's just going to give away your position and get you killed. If you're ever running through smoke or you see smoke, just do yourself a favor. Turn off your laser sight because it's not going to do you any good. Now the M249 is really ideal for these close quarter clustery maps with just lots and lots of chaos. It is important to spot your enemy targets though if you're using iron sights, as you can lose your target in all of the confusion. I mean the muzzle flash, the explosions, everything going on there. It does help to spot your target. Granted, the accuracy of this weapon blooms out so much that it doesn't matter too much. It really turns into a spray and pray weapon once you just start holding down that fire button. Your first couple shots, of course, are a bit more accurate, but where's the fun in that? Plus, we're supposed to be playing like LevelCapGaming Noob here, so definitely hold down fire. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the LevelCapGaming YouTube channel, they started off as just Battlefield friends and then kind of evolved into this YouTube channel where they do all kinds of funny, wacky videos. And of course, Neebs is the noob character from Battlefield Friends, the guy who always thinks he knows everything that's going on, but actually doesn't really have much of a clue. But his favorite weapon is, of course, the M249. I believe he actually uses a bipod most of the time, but I'm okay with using the stubby grip here for a little bit extra performance. And as you can see, I have no problem just mowing people down from these campy little spots on Zavad 64-player TDM. You definitely want to grab some cover, and if you don't have cover, then use the visual cover, as you'll see me do quite a bit using my smoke grenades in this map. Smoke grenades are so much more effective now, ever since they got rid of the ability for infrared and FLIR optics to see through the smoke. They actually now conceal your position moving up, so I just like them so much more now and have actually really been enjoying using them, especially on TDM maps, because they can actually break the choke points. They're the one thing in this game that can actually get you past those choke points, and you just have to know how to take advantage of them. Sometimes I'll throw all three of them at a choke point, one close up, one medium range, and one far range, and it allows me to press up through an entire hallway without anybody actually seeing me. And then things get crazy, of course, but you know, crazy can sometimes be a good thing, especially in a stalemate. And in fact, you'll see me use that tactic right here to get a little bit closer to the enemies. You'll also see me use the spotting ability to shoot people through the smoke. This has never actually been fixed. It's something that I know they've tried for a long time to fix in the Battlefield games, just spotting through smoke, my ability to see spotted targets through smoke and just take them out without actually having any sort of line of sight on them. I wonder if they'll try and fix this for the next Battlefield game. It certainly would be cool. In fact, it'll be interesting to see how spotting works in Battlefield 1 altogether, just because all the gameplay clips that they've shown of it so far are rendered with UI off. It'll be interesting to see what they've come up with, because we've got a very colorful user interface for Battlefield 4, but that probably won't really look too appropriate in Battlefield 1 since they're sort of going for a much more old school look. I'm actually very curious to see what kind of UI updates they've made to the game, because at its core we know it's going to be a Battlefield game, so there's going to be many similarities, but I really love looking for the small niche updates that can actually have a fairly profound impact on how the game plays. Alright, now back to this actual loadout. You can see I'm tearing it up here. I mean, I've picked the appropriate maps to make this loadout work on. The iron sights are not ideal. As you can see, there's a lot of spraying and praying going on here because I just don't really have the ability to be as accurate as I want to be. It's not slowing me down too much, but if I had a coyote sight or a cobra sight on here, I feel like I would be doing significantly better. In fact, having a nice clean red dot sight would pretty much improve my ranged effectiveness with this setup, so I'm mostly just trying to move around quickly and get as close to people as possible. I am doing a bit of hip firing here, but you'll notice that none of these clips really have my laser sight on. I did use it from time to time, but I found I was far more effective with it off. I really do stand by the belief that the laser sight really does a lot more harm than it does good. I mean, hip fire accuracy is great. Who doesn't want to have more accurate hip fire accuracy? My thing is that hip fire accuracy is going to be alright as is in extreme close quarters, to the point where the laser sight isn't going to make a huge difference. And the downside is that anybody who sees that laser sight is going to make a beeline for you or just start shooting in your general direction. So it really does hurt your survivability way too much, in my opinion. Now, the way I have this class set up, it really is more of a choke point breaking class. I mean, I've got the M67 frag grenade in this particular clip, but sometimes I switch to smoke grenades, and when I see the smoke going down, it is just fun to rush right in and go crazy, because you got those 200 rounds in the magazine. In your box magazine, you can just run in there and wreak havoc. So I actually switched to the smoke grenades just to break those choke points, and it's great for maps like Operation Lockers, where it can normally just turn into a stalemate where all your teams are just firing down one hallway, nobody's making any progress or ground in one direction or another. But if you add smoke grenades to the kit setup and take advantage of the smoke grenades in your 200 round mag, you can get some crazy flanks off and absolutely break down the flanks and make some actual progression through the map. Granted, once you push through to the other side, then the enemy team spawns behind you and everything just switches around, so it's sort of like you've never actually made any progress anyway. But if you're playing on maybe a rush map, then that could actually be quite useful. And for the most part, the M249 is set up in the same manner that I would set it up personally, just with a stubby grip, no barrel attachment. I probably wouldn't even bother putting the laser sight on there. I just don't find that much use for it, and then I just put a simple red dot sight on there. Now, if you really wanted to perfect the choke point breaking class, I might run with a pump action shotgun, as it would allow you to get a few more kills. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Loadout. Don't forget to leave your comments for next week's episode, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.